Good Friday morning, and thanks for joining us on the Ohio AgNet Voice You Know with the News You Trust studio, sponsored by Grain Equipment Company, where innovation meets execution, and also in part by Xyway brand fungicide, where you get an unfair advantage. Always read and follow label directions. I'm Dusty Sonnenberg. Well, under clear skies, it is cold outside, only 5 degrees on the barn thermometer, but with a little bit of a breeze, it makes it feel much colder. It looks like today is our day between weather systems to get a few things done. This quick calendar reminder, the Jackson County Regional Livestock Market will be having a bred cow consignment sale coming up this Friday at 6 o'clock p.m. Visit jcrlm.com, your livestock authority. Also, OSU Extension is presenting the Dairy Beef Feeder 101 program dealing with calf health, nutrition, and economics. It runs from 6:30 to 8 p.m. on February the 19th. To register or for more information, go to go.osu.edu/dbf2025. And thanks to Ohio soybean farmers, Grow Next Gen provides free STEM tools and connects students to high-tech ag careers. Learn more today at grownextgen.org. Oil prices making agricultural headlines. Well, tariffs against Canada and Mexico are paused through the rest of this month, but if you believe that means the oil markets are quiet, well, you might be mistaken. Oil prices in early Monday action were trading slightly higher, but still in that $72 a barrel range. Patrick DeHaan with GasBuddy.com says that while there is concern the tariffs against Canada and Mexico will return, the more pressing concern is economic weakness in China.
China has had issues with its real estate market as well. And China being one of the world's largest oil consumers, what happens in their economy could directly impact their consumption of oil. And so oil markets have been paying very close attention to the slowdown in the Chinese economy to see if Chinese authorities can and will take any action to potentially stimulate the economy.
Now, the economic stimulation, DeHaan noted, remains an open-ended question that investors will be watching for some time. DeHaan says just because oil prices aren't moving higher doesn't mean the price at your local station won't be moving up in the coming days.
We are starting to see refineries, especially on the West Coast, enter their maintenance. There was also a refinery fire at a refinery in Southern California that has pushed up the price of diesel and gasoline. So refined products are seeing an impact. As I mentioned, we are getting into the seasonal time of year that refineries do that seasonal maintenance work ahead of the start of the summer driving season. So refined product prices have been drifting a bit higher in the last week.
Again, those are the comments of Patrick DeHaan with GasBuddy.com. Well, in other agricultural headlines, the organization known as the Humane Society of the United States, or HSUS, has changed their name. Their name change now being called Humane World for Animals. Now, Kitty Block is currently the leader of the organization, and she says that the new name is, quote, strong, it's memorable, and perfectly captures who they are and what they're striving to achieve. Now, interestingly enough, there is dissension among the animal rights activist community. The group PETA, or People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, went on the offensive last fall against groups like the Humane Society of the United States and the American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, or HSUS and ASPCA, saying they are promoting, quote, factory farming operations that label their products as, quote, certified or humane. Now, one of the chief complaints of HSUS is that they do not have a connection with local humane societies. Rather, they've been piggybacking off the good work that the local animal shelters do, and that name recognition has helped them bring in roughly $170 million a year in donations. The HSUS has often spent close to $1 million on direct lobbying efforts to the federal government, often related to fighting animal agriculture, promoting vegan causes, and ending what's considered animal cruelty, and that lobbying amount has skyrocketed ever since 2017. Now, most sources investigating have found that just 1% of the HSUS funds actually make it to animal shelters. Let's check in now on that Friday morning weather forecast brought to us by Seed Consultants. Simply better performance online at seedconsultants.com.
A dry finish to the week here for your Friday, but it is chilly. I'm Chief Meteorologist Ryan Martin. Let's take a look at that Ohio forecast update. No changes here. I'm looking at still a very active weekend across the Buckeye State. And then next week also throws us a few curveballs. Let's start nearby here. High pressure is sitting over the top of us for your Friday. That's giving sunshine, but it is a cold day. Temperatures probably trying to ease here later this afternoon. We do see a clipper system trying to move out of the upper Midwest into the Great Lakes overnight tonight into tomorrow. That could throw some cloud cover into northern parts of the state, maybe even a little bit of precipitation towards sunrise in northwest Ohio. But the bulk of the story for the weekend is a big weather system coming up out of the mid-Mississippi River Valley, coming right across central parts of Indiana and through Ohio. I feel that a large part of this is again going to be rain, especially central and southern Ohio, but in the northern third of the state, light snow is possible, and I also have to leave the door open to some icing again. Freezing rain. This is another potential overrunning scenario. I don't think it's as big of a story that way back farther to our west, but here I think we have to leave the door open. Good rains, a good moisture availability through the day Saturday, taking a pause briefly Saturday evening, and then overnight Saturday night through Sunday. Rains are back, moderate to heavy rains in southern parts of Ohio. We can see big-time accumulations of rain there. Ice, still a possibility, yes, but cold air really starts to ramp in on the backside of this low as it tries to move off to the east and northeast. And so I think rain is going to end as snow with accumulations that could be anywhere from 1 to 5 or 6 inches, depending on where you're at on Sunday in Ohio. Next week stays cold with high pressure nearby. Have another chance of snow likely Wednesday night through Thursday. Accumulations are likely the way it looks right now. The cold sticks all the way through the weekend before we moderate the last week of February. I'm Ryan Martin.
Thanks, Ryan. Stay tuned. We'll be back with more after this.
Here's the scoop. Soybeans are fueling Ohio's dairy farms, one glass of milk at a time. Nationwide, dairy farms use the equivalent of 229 million bushels of soybeans every year. Plus, high oleic soybeans boost milk fat and yield, making farms more profitable. From the fields to your fridge, soybeans power the farms that feed families. Brought to you by Ohio soybean farmers and their checkoff.
In other agricultural headlines, we have a new Secretary of Agriculture. By a strong bipartisan vote of 72 to 28, the Senate has confirmed Brooke Rollins as the 33rd Secretary of Agriculture. Rollins, a graduate of Texas A&M University, served as both acting director of the Domestic Policy Council and as assistant to the president for intergovernmental and technology initiatives during the previous Trump administration. Rollins subsequently served as the president and CEO of the America First Policy Institute, which was founded in 2021. Now, during her Senate hearing in January, Rollins focused on her commitment to allocate disaster and economic assistance quickly and efficiently, address animal disease outbreaks, collaborate with the ag committees to pass a farm bill, and focus USDA on serving all American agriculture. In other ag headlines, a major soybean research project which collaborates with the University of Missouri will shut down on April 15th due to President Donald Trump's dismantling of funding to the U.S. Agency for International Development, otherwise known as USAID. Soybean Innovation Lab, based at the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign, was formed in 2011 to provide researchers and organizations with resources needed to advance soybean development. The lab comprised over 100 technical soybean experts from 24 countries, each representing a variety of institutions. Now, the land-grant system will lose 19 innovation labs across 17 states, including Missouri. University of Missouri has been involved in the Soybean Innovation Lab since 2013, said Carrie Clark, a University of Missouri researcher who leads the mechanization division of the lab. Clark said the University of Missouri's sector of the Soybean Innovation Lab research received $1.2 million, or about $150,000 annually, before losing the funding. As part of the project, Missouri has been doing research on African soybean diseases that would help Missouri farmers combat disease that can decimate soybean crops. The research found diseases in African soybean crops that could be prevented in Missouri and abroad, Clark said. Brady Deaton, who's a former University of Missouri chancellor and member of the Soybean Innovation Lab Advisory Board, said the end of the project will affect knowledge about soybean breeding, soybean diseases, and the use of technology in Africa and other parts of the world. Missouri's research pioneered new technologies, particularly threshing, which is the process of removing soybeans from their pod. The research also focused on the uses of soybeans and nutrition and understanding how it was being used for feeding both people and livestock. The funding disruption also cuts off relationships between the researchers, businesses, and government sector, said a social media statement from Peter Goldsmith, the director for the Soybean Innovation Lab. He said the labs will lose relationships and collaboration with local businesses, organizations, and government. U.S. soybean farmers lose one of the best tools to expand their markets and U.S. standards globally, Goldsmith said in his post. Local economies and emerging markets lose soybeans as an incomparable engine, growing wealth, prosperity, and economic development. Well, here's a neat opportunity. If you're a 4-H member, the Georgia Boot 4-H Trailblazers application is officially live for 2025. A Georgia Boot Trailblazer is a 4-H member who is passionate and dedicated, who wants to share their project journey and accomplishments. Now, a long partner of 4-H, Georgia Boot will select winners to receive prize packages, including 2 pairs of Georgia Boots, a $350 gift card to a qualifying farm and ranch or hardware store, Georgia Boot and 4-H merchandise as well. For more information and to apply, you can find that at their website, www.georgiaboot.com/4-H-Trailblazers. Applications must be submitted by March 16th. Stay tuned. We'll be back to take a look at your markets after this.
Attention Ohio businesses. Join the Ohio Bureau of Workers' Compensation for the 2025 Ohio Safety Congress and Expo, April 16th through the 18th at the Greater Columbus Convention Center. Connect with industry experts, have hands-on training sessions, explore cutting-edge safety solutions with over 300 exhibitors. Whether you're looking to reduce risks, enhance productivity, or build a stronger safety culture, the Ohio Safety Congress is for you. Register at www.ohiosafetycongress.com. It's free.
Morton Buildings is holding their annual Building Value Day sales event, running now until the end of February. If you are looking to build, now's the time to lock in your building project and save. Join them for their open house Friday, February 21st, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Saturday, February 22nd, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. at one of their Ohio construction centers, Caldwell, Kenton, Wilmington, or Worcester. For more information and to find your local office, visit mortonbuildings.com. Certain restrictions may apply. This offer is available on select building styles. Contact your local construction center for more details. Let's take a look at what's impacting our markets. Today's market analysis is brought to you by the Louis Dreyfus Company. Excited to be building the newest state-of-the-art soybean crush facility in Upper Sandusky, Ohio. Phone 574-566-2113 for information on soybean marketing to LDC. Here's Ryan Martin.
Kind of a mixed bag in the marketplace yesterday. We traded either side of unchanged through the entirety of the day. The biggest expectation was of the Trump administration going to be releasing their not retaliatory, but their reciprocal tariff pattern, and it did happen yesterday afternoon. But most of the news on that and the announcement came out after the markets closed yesterday. So the markets were pretty stagnant waiting for that announcement to happen. Weekly export sales report was not a big story overall. We did see CONAB drop the size, or I should say put the size of the Brazilian soybean crop at 166 million metric tons. They dropped yield a little bit, but they raised the planted area somewhat. On corn, the winter corn came in just shy of 100 million tons, 96, I believe, and change. But that's only the winter corn, not the second crop safrinha corn. I still think the corn crop size is going to be substantial in Brazil. Nothing on Argentina, of course. CONAB is the Brazilian equivalent of USDA. Going to wait to see what the Rosario Grain Exchange says on Argentina going forward. But the main pullback in the bean market over the past few days has been on the heels of bigger rains coming into Argentina. So maybe that 3 million metric ton drop that USDA put in on the Argentina crop earlier this week with the WASDE, that may be going away. Still not something that we're seeing very friendly thought processes out there on the bean market, and really not seeing any help on any other side of things either. Weather is going to be a little bit supportive to wheat. Cold air that's in over the nation's midsection right now and through next week is helping to support especially Kansas City wheat, but export stories are still probably the number one driver. I'm Ryan Martin.
Thanks, Ryan. Now taking a look at how the markets closed. March corn closed up 3 1/4 cents, and May corn was up 2. March soybeans closed up 2 1/4 cents, while May soybeans were up 1 1/4 cents. March Kansas City wheat closed up 6 3/4, while March Chicago wheat was up 3 1/2 cents, and March Minneapolis wheat was up 2 1/2. Taking a look now at the overnight trade, brought to us by Seed Consultants. Simply better performance online at seedconsultants.com. Well, March corn is trading down 1/4 penny at $4.93 1/4 1/4 cent. December new crop is unchanged at 4.72 3/4. March soybeans are trading up 1 1/4 at 10.31 1/4 cent, while November new crop beans are up 1/2 penny at 10.45 3/4, and wheat for March is up 5 3/4 cents at 5.83 3/4. The July 25 new crop is up 6 cents at $6.09. At the close, February live cattle were up 40 cents at $199.55. February lean hogs closed down 7.5 cents, $89.37 1/2 cent. Thanks for joining us and have a great day, everyone. This is the Ohio AgNet.